Good day, everyone. We are back, and quick turnaround from Hungary. We were hungry for Hungary. We maybe had our appetites half fulfilled, but now we're heading on to an interesting weekend this weekend, which is at Spa. Interesting for quite a few reasons and evolving situations as well. So we will waste no time to get into it. But of everything coming up this weekend, what are you thinking about? What have you heard about this wacky weekend coming up?
It's going to rain all weekend, so that's not going to be a
wet.
talking point. Definitely not.
Yeah, no. Not because we've had races cancelled here in the past. Not because in poor conditions recently we have had some terrifying, horrible accidents. So, as if we didn't need an excuse for everyone there to be talking about everything, which they should anyway. It's obviously just going to come up even more now with looking like some dreadful weather on a sprint weekend of all things too.
Yes.
So it is going to be an interesting end to this first half of the season.
Yeah, I really hope that it goes off without another big accident, but it's just kind of like, particularly sprint weekend, we've seen the last couple have actually been quite good, and people have been really bustling and fighting, and I'm like, if it's wet, and it's supposed to be that Saturday in particular, it's supposed to be really wet. Sunday is like less so, but Friday, Saturday, which is qualifying, going at full speed as well, and Saturday being the sprint race, which you'd assume both of those times they're going to be absolutely, flying around the track, or trying to at the very least. It's like 80-90% chance of rain. And yeah, we've seen here, as you say, in the past, some unfortunate incidents, and even when crashes don't happen, people don't drive because you can't. You just aquaplane, so they just don't get going. So are we even going to get a full weekend this weekend?
Yeah,
who knows? But if we do, it could be really, really fun. I think wet races are always some of the most exciting, provided we don't have any of the the stupid stuff that comes with it sometimes. But so here's praying for maybe just a little bit of rain, but not too much rain.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of raises the topic again of whether Spa is really suitable for kind of current F1, current modern racing. I mean, it's one of those legacy classic tracks that you could say has tried to evolve with the times for safety. I mean, we used to have fast tracks like the old Monza, the old Hockenheim, and all of those kind of changed to be more appropriate for current day racing. Spa has tried to adjust for it. There was all these concerns in their fast sections where it's very easy to bounce back onto the track in accidents, which is where you kind of get the worst of unlucky accidents. And they tried to make some changes, but those freak accidents happen less likely, but there's still so much competition there, and there's still so many near misses or, actual bad collisions that can end in loss of life. So, and that's even in clear conditions, right? So it does raise a genuine question there. Everyone's saying, is this the last year at Spa? Are we, there's just a brand new rethink of many of the sections of that track just need to be, torn up and redone, because as much as it's iconic, it's also, you always balance that risk between, it's a fast-paced sport that is always going to have some level of risk for both drivers and spectators. That's just the nature of it. But, that line as to what's appropriate is, continually going to move, and it feels like Spa, we're going to, as I say, you're going to hear a lot about it all weekend. Yeah. They did all this work to it with the intention to say, right, F1's going to, when F1 a few years ago through the COVID thing was saying, look, we've got a lot of opportunity, but here's some big things we need everyone to do. That's why circuits like Zandvoort and like Albert Park did some massive changes to say, right, we want to grow with you. Let's take your feedback and make some big changes. So Spa kind of did a similar thing, but as I say, it almost immediately hasn't adjusted what they were trying to solve. So yeah, I don't know how it sits, but it wouldn't be surprising if they said, look, this just isn't appropriate for this level of racing. Whether it's any level of racing, I don't know, right? But it's certainly, as we say, not that we need to discuss it here, but you're going to hear a lot about it this weekend if you're watching the broadcast. A lot of drivers prior to this have started talking about it. And the weather that we're going to have is not, people are going to discuss it even more. Because even on dry, it's dangerous, let alone when visibility is poor. But as we say, it's a sprint weekend. It is under that newish format that we've had here. We are back to the old qualifying format, I guess, if it is dry, where we had the trial weekend last weekend out with the tires, but we're back to the traditional format here. So I had a check. I couldn't see any other notable changes in terms of, DRS, track limits, any of that conversation. But on a back-to-back, you normally don't get much of that conversation until the kind of the local Thursday or the Friday when team members start arriving. And look, I mean, do you have anything else to mention at this point, or are we thinking ahead to who's going to be hot or cold?
No, not really. It was just the rain that I saw, but I didn't realize the discussions about whether it'd be the last year it'd be that serious. But I mean, given that it is supposed to be wet, it's obviously gonna come up. So I'm just hoping we have a full weekend and we get some good racing. Like, that's really all you can hope for, I suppose. In terms of who I think's gonna be strong, McLaren may struggle a little bit here, particularly in the wet conditions. They've talked about how the traction for them is not, like, the low speed sort of traction is not great for them, which I would assume means in wet conditions they're probably going to struggle. So they may, although I said that last weekend as well about Hungary, is like, they might struggle here because it doesn't suit their car.
That's exactly the caveat, right?
So
yes.
I do think if they've come out and the team have basically come out and said this is what we're struggling at, it's still that low speed stuff, and even at Hungary that's what they said. It's just that traction in low speed, and the wet weather is definitely going to heighten that quite a lot. So I would expect to see them maybe not quite as strong as they have been the last couple of races. As for the rest of the field, I don't know anymore. Red Bull will be fast. That's it. And then everyone
Red
else.
Bull will be fast.
One Red Bull will, yes, that's correct. Yes, seeing as there's weather around, that other Red Bull could be starting anywhere. So
yes. Starting and finishing anywhere. But as we say, it's also a sprint, so there's extra places to think about. But I guess we still need to review how we did last weekend out. I think again, while Max is still up there, while he's smashing records, while he's getting Red Bull new records for consistent wins in a row for a team. I think we said last time out, can't remember if it was on file or not, I think we both need to decide on a race this year where we have to bet that Max isn't going to win it.
Yes.
So, don't know if this is a weekend where you've gone for that, but we'll keep it in mind anyway. But for the points, I mean, we both got the win for Max. Shock and horror there. P2, P3, again, we were kind of I guess we both didn't believe that much in the Perez, so he got us wrong. And the McLaren was strong as well. So, oops, we were kind of both off the game there.
Well, it happens.
But
I'm happy that I'm more than happy that McLaren is good. That's
it's true. It's true. But you did get the prediction for our outside prediction, not for P10, which you were close on with Albon but didn't get. But
very close.
You did get the prediction for Daniel Ricciardo.
Were we doing points for that? Position. I didn't even.
I will say we were, and you know what? I will give you 1.5 points for that. It makes the scores nice and round anyway. Because I think that was brilliant. I was surprised.
Okay.
So, as the editor-in-chief, I will give it to you. So, if I've done my math right, that will put myself on 22 and you on 21.
Oh, so I have definitely closed the gap there.
Brought the tables up, yes.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to see how we go. But we do have a sprint. As I double-checked, as we didn't do for Austria, but we did for Azerbaijan, we're supposed to predict who will come P2.
Yes.
Which I kind of had a guess, but then I thought about if it's going to be damp, if it's even going to go ahead. Would my guess be as strong as it is? And given that, I have changed my response. But I'm curious on what you're thinking. I don't know if you've gone the same as you've gone in the race, or whether you think because it's sprint, because it might be damper than the race.
I
change it around a little.
I'll be honest. I haven't figured out my my top 3 for the race yet. I've only done the sprint. I'm gonna work it out as we go. But P2 for the sprint, I'm going with Hamilton. I need to see the McLarens in the wet in those low speed things to really fully judge their pace. They are obviously, like, it's McLaren and Mercedes are sort of fighting for that P2 at the moment as it stands. So it's going to be one of those two teams, and I just think the Mercedes is the more well-rounded car, and I think Hamilton he would just relish these conditions and he would fight through. He won't get Max, but he would fight through to get a P2. I did actually consider going Russell because I know Russell has had some stonking races in the wet in Spa as well, but I'm like, I just think Hamilton in the car, the way it is right now, I think he's more comfortable.
So I had a different driver down before I changed. And for the sake of doing something different, maybe I'll go back to them. Because I changed to Hamilton for those reasons. Yep. If I was thinking about it fully in the dry, I kind of had a different pick.
You can pick Hamilton, that's fine.
No. I'll go back. So I actually had Norris because I'm kind of like, look, I totally
okay.
doubted them last weekend.
Yep.
I feel like that car's especially really strong in kind of the first segment of the race.
Yep.
So I figured, look, if maybe a bit of spoilers, maybe if I haven't touted them as much still in the race, I still kind of wanted to give them credit somewhere. But given that you've gone for it, I'd prefer to do something a little different.
Yep.
So I'll actually go back to Norris.
Okay. Yeah.
On that one.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if it was dry, you have to seriously consider McLaren. I think in the wet, it's still just a bit of an unknown.
Well, we just don't know because, as we said, when we're going to Hungary, we're like, but they're not going to do well here. We actually more had a quantity, so now we're like, well, it could just be wrong here.
Yep.
You know, it could just be a pocket rocket.
Yep.
So
who knows?
I guess we'll move on to our main predictions. So have you taken your, what are we calling it, our golden ticket to say someone else's P1 this week? What we need a name for it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
We'll think of it anyway.
Think of it. We got a month to think of it after this.
Yes.
I am not taking it this weekend. Max will be P1.
Mainly because you haven't planned yours yet. So even if you,
he's gonna win. He's gonna win. I just think again if it's wet, I think he's just. I know as more comes into it, but I think he's just so in control of that Red Bull, and I think he's again also really good in the wet, and that car, I just can't see anyone beating.
And even
him
if it
in
is
that car.
dryish, this should be a track where that car really will excel as well.
Yeah,
so
because it has a
be
little bit of
extra
everything,
strong.
and that Red Bull is just so like all round. It is just so strong.
Yes.
Whereas like other teams have like they're really strong here, but they fall down here, and the Red Bull is like we're just strong everywhere. So, I can't see Max losing this one unless something catastrophic happens.
So I guess if you're still thinking, I might
sure
go ahead
am.
with my P2 then.
Okay.
P2, I think I will go for the Red Bull number 2 in Perez. I guess thinking, look, I've been on the doubt train. Yes, there's no reason to still move away from the doubt train.
Yes.
But if there's a circuit where even if he's going to start a bit back, even if there might be a bit of weather, this track is pretty easy to overtake on. Even in Hungary, when he had a pretty sizable climb on a track that you'd think is quite hard to overtake on.
He was feisty in Hungary, so
yes. So a track like this, especially that back straight, where even if it's a bit damp, if he's near anyone, he probably should just rocket past them.
Yep.
Unless he's stuck behind an Albon for the whole race, of course, the Albon factor.
It's entirely possible if he qualifies a bit too low.
And I guess because we're gonna have the sprint and then the race, and I guess any quirks he's had in the sprint, he's kind of worked out for the race in the past. So like he didn't he? Was it Azerbaijan? He won, or was it someone else?
I think it was Azerbaijan.
Yes. I think I'm like he's won 2.
Azerbaijan and
he has.
Saudi, I think.
I think so. Yeah, there was 2, and I'm like, what is that? One of them? Did he even win this year? So that's why I've kind of gone P2. I think if he's going to be anywhere, even with a bit of weather.
Yeah. Well, I guess
we'll see how he goes.
I guess I'll go to my P3 then because I've put Perez there. I was actually thinking about putting him in here. I just wasn't sure whether or not I was going to go P2, P3. I think he still has a lot to work out, but like you say, it is very easy to overtake on this track. And if there's any sort of dry weather, he'll get a podium, I think, unless he's starting P20. And again,
and even then,
and yes, yeah, exactly. So, I'll say P3 for him, and then I've got to figure out my P2. So,
okay. Well, I guess I'll go with my P3 then. I think, given that this team in the past has done well here, it's kind of tricky because both drivers have done well here. There's a bit of a 50-50 to choose who to go for, but I think I'll take a bit of your optimism from last weekend and I'll go for Leclerc in P3 this week. It wasn't that long ago that he won here. I think he got one of his I don't know if it was his first win here. I believe it was, where he won in 2021, and then he won the next race out in Monza in 2022. 2021, sorry, the race after.
Yeah.
And Sainz last year actually got a podium, so I feel like that team's decent here. I feel like they'll be all right, even if it is mixed weather. And yeah, maybe I just want to see a bit of hope for that team again, even if they struggled in Hungary a bit. But I
want to see Ferrari up there, but.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see Perez. I want to see Ferrari. I want to go out in a nice little high with hopefully no incidents.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
It was tricky, but I just figured you got to go with your gut feeling. I think now with you could put an Alonso there, and I go, fair enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
or you could put an Albon up there. Who knows? The pocket rocket.
I feel like with all the weather around, the inclement weather around, it could definitely catch some people out. But like you say, with the sprint race beforehand, you'd say that if there's any sort of top drivers or drivers from top teams that are in for a shout with podium, you'd say if they have any issues with that, you'd think they'd sort of figure it out in time for the race. Like they'd iron them out then and figure it out for the race. So, but sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. I'm not on the Ferrari Hopium train. They've let me down 2 weeks in a row, so they can go in the bin. And I'm just gonna go with Hamilton P2.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of anyone else to put in there. I'm like, it just has to be Hamilton, doesn't it?
It is the safest pick.
So,
yeah.
And I'm behind, and I need the safe picks to get my points back up.
Yeah.
So,
I got up on the dangerous picks, but now you kind of it's a bit of a mix of predictions.
Yes. You know what we did forget though is our random pick, which we should have done before.
Oh, we should have done that first because there's so many bloody picks. That's fine. That's okay.
We figured it out.
It was good you remembered.
Yes.
Those that have to do it in post. Right. Let's get our pick, which would be for P13.
Ooh, another 13.
Will it be Ricardo?
Ricardo.
Again?
No, I'm not going to say. I will say. No, I won't say that. No, I just had. No.
I've typed 3 answers and then removed them. I see how it looks on paper. I go,
yeah,
it doesn't look right. I'll go Bottas.
Bottas. Yeah.
I think it's all reliable pick. We're not sure in the midfield.
Bottas.
Just go Bottas.
Just go Bottas. Safe, reliable Bottas. I'll go Yuki for P13. So
okay.
I'll go the other AlphaTauri.
But anyway, that will round us out, I guess, then, unless there was anything else you wanted to touch on. But
not really, no.
Otherwise, I guess bit of an inverse coin from what you did recently. I will be traveling soon,
yes.
So I will be the one that will be recording from afar and working through general tech issues, not being on the beastly home PC. So we'll see how we go, but we'll manage, and we'll be back in touch anyway after the weekend. And of course, I guess it will be almost second last final reminder for our mid-season big podcast Chatterino review of the season thus far.
I have many
Please
notes.
get your questions in, your topics in, your anything in. If you can contact us on either a review on Spotify.
I'll give you
or
Carl's
anything.
phone number right now and
yes,
text
there you go. And you can take my overseas phone number as well.
Hell yeah.
Yes, any platform you know us on, Twitter, YouTube comments, whatever, or X, I guess it's called now, not Twitter. Sorry, redacted.
Yeah.
Please don't take us. Please don't delete our account.
If they do, it's fine. I don't even care anymore. It's such a hole.
Yes. Let us know anyway, and we'll discuss it.
Definitely.
But, you'll have a final chance to get something in when we do our review after the weekend is over, and hopefully we have some, a positive weekend to review.
Definitely.
But we'll see how we go. All good. But otherwise, we'll catch you guys around and enjoy the weekend as best you can. Take care.
Goodbye.